Welcome to all sins and commandments alike. This is Griever, your guys' host as always, bringing you guys Dragon's Judgment, the final season of 7 Deadly Sins, also known as Nanatsu no Taizai, episode 9. This is super late, right before episode 10 is supposed to drop. Now, the reason this is late is from my very disliked video last review, which was also late. And the reason that episode 8 was late was because honestly, it set me up for a little bit of disappointment. I didn't feel like making too much of a hate video or anything toxic, so I just waited a bit to do the review. And then I sort of lost track of time and then realized like that had really put a damper on my spirits towards this last season. Knowing that we're building towards some great moments and some terrible writing, I was just sort of at a crossroads. And then I finally decided to watch the episode yesterday. Didn't have time. Now I'm reviewing it today. And okay, my spirits are a little lifted. They are. There's some animation stuff that's very lazily done, and we know what they are. But for the most part, this episode was actually handled quite well. I like the Ludeshell-Henriksen interactions especially. I found that they were more, the tone, the music behind them was actually more entertaining than the fight. In the manga, this fight, like, were this to be animated with a full budget or whatever, or a great studio, this fight would have been the thing to take away, right? King showing up, Sunflower, first form Chastafol. We have the Sinner Demon. I'm glad they're using that epithet for him. They're not just calling him the first demon or they're calling him the original demon, the first demon, and the Sinner. All 3 translations in one anime episode. I really like that because first demon just, the title sounds alright, but I always like the title of the Sinner. The original demon, the Sinner himself, I always like that epithet. So I'm really happy that that's there. And the Sinner's color palette, 10 out of 10. Couldn't really think of a better color palette for him. I think it's really cool. I love what they're doing with his mane of hair, with the sort of the flames, but they're like this weird, eerie green color mixed with a turquoise. It's very, very cool. I really like what they did with his color scheme. I really like that. So there are a lot of positives here. They're following the order of the manga and stuff, but the little tiny things they add, Zeldris's reactions to certain scenes and certain fights, and also showcasing him a little more than they did in the manga. Plus, Ludeshell's, just this one moment that I noticed, and I didn't reread the volume, of course, because I'm already behind doing these reviews, but there was one moment I noticed when he's talking to Henriksen. I thought they were going to set this up for next episode. Henriksen, of course, manages to purge Ludeshell out of Margaret's body so that Gil and Margaret can have their happy ending and stuff. And because right now Ludeshell was so distraught over Mile being alive, like he didn't even have the power to fly or walk or do anything, so he was defenseless. And Purge, of course, doesn't just expel evil, so as is explained, and that's all fine and good. Here, what we do get though is a moment between them that says, Henriksen basically says, "I'm sorry for doing that, but it was unfair to them to use Margaret's body like that any longer. This is not fair. This is not what the Archangel should be about. This is not what justice is about. So I let them go," sort of idea. But I will give you a consolation prize. Use my life, use my soul, you burn through my life force, and use me as your vessel for what little good it'll do you, just to fight for even 5 more minutes, pretty much. That will help us in this battle of this end of the Holy War sort of idea, right? And this is all said in the manga, but I like that it's sort of split up different. As I said, I didn't reread the volume, but I don't remember this conversation being split up into 2 or 3 parts like it is here in the episode. And I feel like that works. I actually thought that the latter part they were going to do at the beginning of the next episode. But here, they do split it up. It does work to build the tension and build the tone. And then when Ludeshell basically, when Henriksen starts to fall to his knees and sort of like, man, I am really injured and stuff. Ludeshell initially goes, and tries to help him, but he hesitates, and then he pulls his hand back, right? I don't remember that moment because I remember we were very focused on Ludeshell's character, especially on the Boar's Hat podcast and stuff. We were very focused on Ludeshell's character because here's where we're supposed to now, this very dictator, this tyrant who makes the demons look sort of like the good guys, and just by their nature of being called demons in the first place, that this was sort of a mismatch of what looks right and what is right sort of idea. And we didn't really feel much sympathy for this dictating, obnoxious, warmongering archangel, right? And here was the moment we were supposed to feel more for him. We were starting to get a little more of his backstory. We saw a few flashbacks here and there. We understood his character a little more. At the time, I still didn't buy much of it. But I don't remember this. It might have been a small panel, but when Hendrickson falls, Ludoshel initially, and he wants to help, and then he pulls his hand back. It's more significant here, as some of the minor panels in manga always are. And you guys are going to be like, why are you harping on this point? There was a lot more stuff that happened in this episode that was kind of cool. I mean, there's your boy Escanor, what's he doing? And stuff like that. But seriously, this moment made me think like, okay, he was talking about how he did get arrogance. He was filled with pride and stuff, and this was a fault of his. But he was sort of talking about how he went from one point to another point now to this point and such. And we're seeing that he's finally let that sort of mask down. He's done putting up anything right now, and he's just like, oh, like he does care about Hendrickson because Hendrickson worshipped him, the thing that he took such pride in, that they reveled in him, and he was the archangel, the leader of the goddesses, all this stuff. He took such pride in that, and Hendrickson was the embodiment of that for him. So it was super interesting there. I really, really liked what the anime did. As I said, I don't remember if the manga did it, but it was definitely more significant here because I don't remember it. And I really liked it because it was slow-paced, the music was really nice, and of course we know that Ludoshel in the end ends up going there in his astral form to fight against the sinner, which is really cool because Escanor is unfortunately, and they play it out really good in this episode. I feel like they're showcasing more of it even though it's not the best animated. They are showcasing the fight a little bit more. Zeldris versus King, I think, gets an extra scene or two or extra shot, and the Sinner versus Escanor definitely gets a shot or two extra from the manga because that's what they're showcasing here. The commandments have all flown officially into the cocoon. Merlin's trying to stop time, and now Escanor, after his midday peak has passed. See, here's something that a lot of power scalers have a problem with, and I'm just going to explain it now because it was explained in the manga. Not really many people paid attention, but here's what actually happened. It's not necessarily that midday has simply passed. It's probably right now, in all honesty, if midday was only 30 minutes ago, it's only 12:30. So he doesn't exactly like drastically lose. Like his 12:30 form should be as strong as his 11:30 a.m. form. Yes, he's leaking power at this point, but from all intents and purposes, he rises, peak. Let's just say, for example, his power level, just to use a number to make this easy, was 200,000 even at 11:30. That means that at 12:30, his power would be 200,000, right? Because it comes to a peak. It's a circle. It's not a like up and then crash. It's not a triangle of crashing power. It's a waxing and a waning, like the moon cycle, or even like the rising and setting of the sun, which is what this takes after. It's very, very simplistic. A lot of people don't understand this, and for some reason, or everybody seems to forget it because of the lines said here. For example, you're so weak after midday has passed, and this makes us think that the sinner is so powerful, or that King is, for being able to stop him from such a far distance so easily, and Escanor seems to be being put on the back pedal. The thing that people miss here is that remember that Escanor is not, Black Knight is still in effect. He should be in small form. He should be in regular Escanor form, Coward Escanor. He's not because of Rita. All of the charged up power, all of the sunshine that Rita has slowly been taking in, it's a reserve energy that Escanor is fighting with. So he's not in his 12:30 form. For all we know, he's pushing like 4 p.m. right now. We don't know how much the reserves is giving him, but that not only that, he's giving his maximum output to try and fight, so he can't even sustain it for very long, and he's burning through the reserves of Rita, which we don't know even how much power that really gives him, because he's trying to fight against what his body's telling him to do, which is to go into his nighttime form, and he's trying to force it as long as possible while at night, and continue to be a match for one of the strongest combatants we've seen in the series. So, Just also wanted to go through that too, because a lot of people missed that point, is that he was in nighttime form. He went and picked up Rita, and Rita has reserves for him to be able to use his regular form for a limited time using the reserves stored in Rita. Rita's power is charge. That's its ability. It charges up from all the heat burning off of Escanor every single day for a reserve power boost. And yeah, so he's burning through that really fast. And then we see it. We see it at the end of the episode when, after all this happens, King and them are all flying towards it. The commandments have beat them to the punch. The cocoon is ready. Freeze time and all that stuff. Merlin pulling one of those. And they're trying to fight it back, which, as I said, is really cool because Ludoshel has to take Escanor's place because Escanor is finally out of power. The Sinner is just kicking the shit out of him. They're not evenly matched. He's not at full strength. This isn't a fair fight. I mean, they're fighting a war here. There are no such thing as like a fair 1v1 at full power every single time. So Escanor gets kicked, blasted, boom, death drive, far away into the air, and turns into, once again, his nighttime form because he drops Rita. And so now his body, his life force, they're starting to slowly give up. And he just begs for someone, he prays for somebody to protect, to save the captain, his only friend in the world, and Merlin. That's what he wishes. And then Mael at the very end catches him and says, "This must be the guidance of the sun that you carry." And boom, end of episode. Thought it was a great way to end the episode. The music in this episode was very on point for a lot of the scenes, as I said, with the Ludoshel and Hendrickson stuff. It was on point with the Mael and Escanor thing at the end. I found the battle, as I said, a lot of shots were not the best animated because, once again, there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of budget or care put into making this really epic fight. But for what it wasn't too bad. It was certainly watchable. Definitely one of the more enjoyable episodes of the last few here. And yeah, I just really enjoyed it. I don't know if it's my favorite episode so far this season's produced, because there was another one that I really enjoyed. I think that was either 6 or 7 or something like that. But yeah, this episode was definitely very good. Give me not any more hope, but I'm less mellow. I'm less disappointed. I'm less down in the dumps about this season. We're just gonna have to ride this out, see where it takes us, right? So hope this review didn't turn into a 24-minute review or something like that, you know. When I go through the editing process, sometimes I play around with these things, I talk, and I think I only talked for 2 or 3 minutes. Meanwhile, it ended up being 11, so what have you. But I never go on tangents, guys, you know this. So that being said, everyone, like, comment, and subscribe as always. Let me know what you guys thought of the episode. Did you like it as much as I seem to, or are you thinking that I'm just trying to butter you guys up because I got so many dislikes on my last review video and nobody likes dislikes? Oh, I feel so triggered. No, it's not really like that. Honestly, the only thing I can ask of people when they dislike one of my videos is to let me know why in the comments. You can tell me it's because you think my opinion sucks, I don't know what I'm talking about, or you just don't like my face. I don't care what your reasoning is. I would just always like to know why you hit the dislike button. You clearly spent the time to dislike it. You didn't hit back, you hit dislike. I'm always curious. But that being said, I did like this episode. I am sort of looking forward to the next one because I know there's going to be a couple episodes coming that I am just not going to like. So stay tuned for those. But yeah, definitely, guys, let me know what you thought. And we'll see you back here next time for, well, we'll probably see it tomorrow or the next day for episode 10. So that'll be pretty exciting, right? So thanks, guys, for watching so much. See ya.